Hello everyone, this is Handmade by Gardina, and today we're working on day 4, hashtag 7 Days of Spring 2021, collaboration with Dear Julie and Cara Brandon Creations. So, today on day 4, this is what Dear Julie has. She has 4 beautiful journaling cards with flowers on them. So that's her day 4, and Cara Brandon has a large pocket and some ephemera on hers, on her day 4. So let's get started on our tags. I do have to say, I am enjoying making tags, making cards very much. I've never made cards before, so I'm having a good time. So I've gotten started on some of them. So this one here, I put some flower trim down the side. And today I've done them all on wallpaper. So this one is white with some silvery lines down through it. I put one of Dear Julie's images on it and took a Tim Holtz little girl and used the double-sided foam tape to raise her up a little bit to give it some dimension. And where the wallpaper has the writing in it, I had to take some coffee dyed paper that has I bought some that has pattern on it and line the whole inside with it. And here I had put Cara Brandon's pocket, her large pocket here. So I'm wondering maybe too if we want to put any of this ephemera on here. So this pocket doesn't look as plain. The Pennsylvania Railroad Company package stamp, excuse me, 12 cents. Yeah, let's put that on there. And I thought of another idea earlier today too, of another thing that you could put in these pockets. Instead of putting money or gift cards, you know how that you send your family pictures and stuff of like your children and all of that. You can also put your pictures down inside of these pockets of these cards, because I know when I always sent pictures of my daughter to my relatives out of town, I would put them in a card and like put just a note to say hello, and then I would just put her picture loose in the card. But now these little pockets would hold the cards, or would hold the pictures. So I think I like the way this one looks. I really love this one. That's one of my favorites so far, which I'll have to hold these down under some large books for a couple of days to get them to lay down where that wallpaper is. So here I used a different kind of glue. I used the Eileen's tacky glue because I didn't know if the art glitter glue would stick to the wallpaper or not, which it does. So it's still a little bit wet, but I'm sure that it will dry. So this is Dear Julie's image. Let's make a little, I don't want to put it up there because I don't want to cover that up. I don't really want to cover that up either. Well, let's make a cluster on the inside then. We'll just put a cluster on the inside. Here's the wooden nickel, which that reminds me of my grandfather so much. He used to always say when you would walk out the door, don't take any wooden nickels from anyone. And when I saw that, it just brought back a lot of memories of my grandfather, which I idolized my grandfather and grandmother on my father's side. To me, they could do no wrong. I mean, I loved them so much. They would take me. I wasn't the oldest grandchild, but there's two more that's older than me, but they lived out of town, or out of state rather. I mean, they loved all of their grandchildren equally, but I think where I was the oldest for a little while, I hung out with them a lot. So I would always go fishing with them and everything. And then when my grandfather passed away and I turned 16, my grandmother never learned how to drive. Okay, I think that's all we're going to do to that one. But do we want to put some of this trim along here? My grandmother never learned how to drive, so when I became 16, I became her chauffeur. So then we really became close when I started driving her around. What about on the bottom? Yeah, I like it there on the bottom. I started driving her around everywhere because, bless her heart, she literally could not drive. My dad and my other aunts and uncles, they tried to teach her how to drive, and she just could not get the concept of driving, which I think the women back then didn't drive because they stayed home and raised the children and everything. So, and then she had always had my grandfather around to drive, and then she had 6 children, so I'm sure whenever they got old enough to drive, she would send them after whatever she needed, which they didn't need much because they grew everything that they needed. Okay, so there's that. So we put some trim on that, made a cluster. So there's our second tag. Here's our third one. Image from Julie at the top. I'm going to glue that there on the side, make it a little bit sideways. But yeah, they probably went and got everything other than what they grew, which probably wasn't much, probably just like their milk and flour and all of that. And we've always lived beside my grandparents ever since I can remember. When we lived in Indiana, we lived on 20th Street, and they lived on 23rd Street. And then when we moved to, I'm not going to put, yeah, I think I will. I'm going to put some on the bottom. And when we moved to Kentucky, which is where my grandparents were from originally, just trying to look what's front and what's back. That's where they were from originally. They moved down about a year and a half after we moved here. And we lived right beside them until they had both passed away. So I had lived beside him my whole life and been very close to him. Which my grandfather, he passed away when I was young. I was 11 when he passed away, but I was in my early 20s when my grandmother passed away. So her and I were really close because we didn't want her to spend the night alone by herself. So me and my cousins would take turns staying all night with her and everything. So I pretty much practically just stayed there. So that's what we're going to do with that one. And this one, this is the wallpaper on this one. Oh, I forgot to show you the wallpaper on this one. This is the pattern of this wallpaper. And this wallpaper I love. It is so pretty. It's a flower pattern. It's like a peachy color, and it just glistens. So I love that wallpaper pattern. And this is like a copper wallpaper. And I thought it would go good with this one, with the irises, I think those are. And it says a joyful birthday on it. So it pretty much has what kind of card it's going to be already for us. So yeah, I idolized my grandparents very, very much. My grandfather was a pastor, and he preached at, well, he was a pastor at one church for many, many, many years, but he would do revivals and stuff at other churches. So I grew up listening to him preach and everything, and he would go around also too, singing songs all the time, like little funny songs like "You Are My Sunshine" and "You Get a Line, I Get a Pole, Babe," and just things like that. We'll put a little cluster on this one. All of this little ephemera is from Cara Brandon. So while my daughter was growing up, I would sing those songs to her all the time. And she's like, "Where do you know all these silly little songs from?" I'm like, "My grandpa taught me these songs. They're really old songs." And one time for Mother's Day, she bought me a sign for Mother's Day, and it says on there, "You get a line and I get a pole." That she had someone etch out those wood etchings, and then it has a fishing pole with a little fish on it, because she knows that I love to fish, which I got that love to fish from my grandparents too. They both love to fish. Yeah, I think that looks good on there. Well, I can't hit the hole to put my glue back on. Alright, come on. There we go. And on this one, I didn't have enough for one whole sheet of paper, so I put the 2 sheets on there, and I had a piece of scrapbook paper left over from yesterday, so I decided to put it in the middle for a pattern, so you didn't see the middle of where these 2 pieces went through the front. So there are our cards for today, made out of wallpaper. And I like them. I love the wallpaper. The wallpaper has very pretty patterns on them. Wonder if we want to put a Tim Holtz person on this one. Here is a little girl here. Holding flowers. I think that would go good there, don't you all? Yeah, that would go very good there. I love these little Tim Holtz people. I think they're so cute, especially the little kids, and I like the clothes that they have on and everything. Yeah, I think she looks really cute there. This one here fell out. They're going to cover up that year. But we could put them on the inside, couldn't we? Let's take out all these little extra pieces here. That needs to come out. I think that's it. So, haven't asked, I'm being rude. Hope y'all are doing well. Hope y'all are crafting along with this and doing this. Remember to use the hashtag whenever you post this on your social media so that we can look at everything that you have created with these two kits. And if you're not crafting along with this, you can go to Dear Julie Julie's Etsy shop and Cara Brandon's Etsy shop and purchase these two kits. And you can play along with this. And then that way we can see what you all have created. Well, I don't want to put a married couple on there and them having and them in a wedding. I think these two ladies would look fun there on the middle, on the inside of that, when you open it up. I always just take my little scissors and poke this up. Poke these little parts out that you need to poke out. But yeah, purchase these kits and play along with us. It's not too late. Today is only day 4, and like I said, you can use these two kits not only to do the 7 days of spring, but they would look great in all kinds of journals, botanical journals, flower journals, garden journals, spring journals, summer journals, just, I mean, all kinds of different journals. I know there's a lot out there that I'm not thinking of because there's just so many types of journals out there. This could be like a best friend card here because they look like they're best friends ready to go for a night out on the town. Okay. Alright, needle, get in there. Why is it being so stubborn today? The other day I had to give my glue a pep talk. Now I'm going to have to give my needle a pep talk to get in the hole. So here are our 4 cards that we have made today. We're going to have a good stash of cards by the time that we're finished. Because we got 2 the first day, I think, and just 1 yesterday, but we made a trifold. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 6 so far, and this 4 makes 10. So out of the 4 days, we've got 10 cards already. So let's recap. We have this one with Dear Julie's image on the front, and we put some flower trim on it. Open it up, we got a little cluster of Cara Brandon and then one of Tim Holt's paper dolls. with a little boy and girl, some coffee dyed paper, and then there's that beautiful wallpaper pattern. This one here is Dear Julie Julie's image with some flower trim and one of Tim Holtz's little paper dolls. Open it up, and then there's Cara Brandon's little ephemera with some coffee dyed paper, and that wallpaper image, it's white with some silver flower background. This one is Dear Julie Julie's image, and we did a cluster with Cara Brandon's ephemera, the butterfly ticket, and a round, I think it said 3 for $5. Open it up, we got some coffee dyed paper, some scrapbook paper, and Tim Holtz paper dolls. And there is that scrapbook paper image, is the copper. And this one, we have Dear Julie Julie's image, Tim Holtz paper doll, which I've lifted up on some double-sided foam tape with some flower trim. Open it up, have Cara Brandon's large pocket in there with some of her ephemera there. So I hope you all liked day 4. Tomorrow we will do day 5. So we are over halfway finished. Remember to do your 5 minutes of happiness. Do your smiling. Think of something joyful. I watched a video today where a lady was talking about how her depression was getting really bad because of all the lockdown situations and stuff. So, yeah, this is why that I encourage happiness and smiling, because with the lockdown and which we just got done with winter and the winter months and everything, depression can get bad. So, yeah, do your 5 minutes of happiness. I want everyone to stay safe, stay healthy, do your happiness, do your 5 minutes of happiness and your smiles, and be contagious with your smiles. And I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good day. Goodbye.